Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bowie Talk. I'm with my cousin Fox, as usual. We also have our other cousin, Jay Heezy, on the phone. Even though his video isn't showing right now, he will be listening in the background. And this is going to be a two-part episode. Jay Heezy will be on the second part. But for our guest today, we do have Coach Lunce on the phone. Today, we're going to be talking about educating the youth. And Coach, he deals with the youth every day. So he can easily give his perspective on how he educates the youth. But I'll go ahead and let Coach introduce himself first, and then we'll go ahead and get into today's topic. So, Coach, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Coach Jay Lunce from Howard High School in North Macon, Georgia. I've been coaching for 24 years, teaching 20 years. I did 4 years of coaching while I was in college. And then as a result of that, we trying to help these kids either way we can, whether it's on my team or whether it's on, another school or anything like that, trying to branch out, reach out to the kids and trying to help the community as much as possible.
Takes a village, don't it?
Yeah.
Always.
And Fox is going to start it off first. He has a question for Coach Lunce. You can go ahead, Fox.
Yeah, Coach, I'm going to hit you in the gut with one now. How everything going, man?
Doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How many hats do you feel like you have to wear with these kids, man? Like, as far as being like a coach, a parent to them, because I'm sure you have to be a parent to most of them. And, the all-around guy, you that guy. Everybody goes to coach for every problem they have, just about, especially high school kids, man. Being from a high school coach perspective, how do you put those hats on, man?
Well, they go for me whenever things are going right for them. They run from me when the things are not right.
Exactly. So there you go with the daddy hat, right?
But that's only on the court. That's only on the court. But off the court, you'd be surprised, how many kids that we know that I had to deal with in that situation. Give you a prime example. I had a kid in Florida. Every Sunday he would call me at the time, and my ex-girlfriend, she would answer the phone. She said, "Hey, your son's on the phone." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You calling." So I get on the phone, stuff like that. "Coach, how you doing?" Blah, this and that. And he called me every Sunday because his father wasn't as available, as he would like for him to be. So I was that figure for him, and I gave him that comfort. But I mean, I've read other situations where I've had kids that's never had discipline before. And because, even though they're great kids, and that's what I had to understand was, even though we had some situations of butting heads, it's just that those kids had never had that side at home because of either their father not being there as much, or dealing with a stepfather situation, or the discipline of being spoiled, or the situation of being spoiled and then getting discipline from me on the court, not being able to get what they want. It's a lot of different factors because, I even have managers, my managers that are even female, having to have conversations with them and being that factor and that father figure for them because of that. Now, not taking anything away from their families, but there's obviously some pieces missing somewhere in the household or within their environment that they're reaching out to say, I need help with something, and I need that support somewhere, whatever it is that you can, help me with. And there's only so much we can do, but give that guidance and help them with that. And that's just part of what we do, and in the education factory, and also in the coaching situation as well.
I like it. And Fox, you had a second question for him, right? I know right now. Let's see, got you.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead and ask your second question.
Well, I wanted to touch up on Coach because I can kind of relate to what he's saying on the fact of, discipline a kid, having to discipline a kid that has never had no discipline at all. Is it easy to lose a kid, Coach? Have you ever lost one that you just couldn't get back?
I've lost kids. And I'll be honest with you, and I hate the fact of it, because they don't understand the process at the time or the situation. And it's not, what kids got to understand is I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. And we always have to go with the fact that one of my main things is to tell the kids is when I stop getting on to you, then you need to worry. Okay? Because whenever at that point I'm ignoring you. Because when I ignore you, I'm done with you. Now you still might be on the team, but you're gonna probably sit more on the bench. You're not gonna get a whole lot of playing time because you're not doing what I asked you to do. But I'm kind of done with you at that point. But as long as I stay on you, you need to appreciate and understand it. All I'm trying to do is better you because I've got to pull something out of you. I know I see a that you have, and I know you're capable of doing better than what you do.
Now, have you ever had to deal with the parents on that aspect?
I have, and I've had to have that conversation with my parents, and that's why we've had parent meetings. I understand that because I tell them all the time. I said, I understand it. Your child is Michael Jordan in your mind. I said, but you have one child to worry about. I have a whole team of kids to worry about. All of them have different problems and all of them have different situations. But, you know, my concept is I need to make men. Yes, I understand winning games matters. It does. It's a big thing. But if my kids do not grow up to be men and be strong men, I failed myself and I failed the kids as well.
So Fox, I want to get to you on this now. So after everything that Coach just said, how do you feel about educating youth, and what have you done to help guide these young men and young women in the right direction?
Well, I actually became a mentor myself a couple of years ago. I had a group of kids that I was mentoring, and before I got a travel job, you know, I, like you say, unforeseen circumstances kind of took me out the game with mentoring these kids. But I keep in contact with all the guys that I had. You know, it ain't nothing for me to get a phone call from some of them, and at any given time, you know, and just checking on me or checking on, you know, seeing how they doing. But I actually I had a couple of guys that was in bad situations and didn't have nobody they could turn to in a lot of cases. And I'm talking about as far as like having stuff at home, you know, being without, you know, and some of these kids got a lot of pride and they don't want to tell you this, but at the same time, you can see it. And you can feel it. You can feel it. And I'm sure Coach can relate to that. But being young with pride is just as bad as being old and set in your ways in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you know, it's reaching these kids. Like Coach says, it's a tough job to reach them. And especially if they got some of them parents that is always like, my child is right all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, that can hurt. And I'm sure you done dealt with that, Coach, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. And like just trying to fill these kids out because they have a lot of emotional pain hidden because of the household is broken, you know, and that's a whole different monster. But I had a mixture of all kind of kids. Like Shut up! But I had a mixture of kids with a whole different, all of them had different emotions, man. I had one that was arrogant. You couldn't tell him he was right or wrong because he knew he was always right, even when he was wrong. I had the coolest laid back kid that is always going to do exactly what you tell him. He's going to listen to everything. I had the bad attitude kid where he's going to do everything right until he get mad. And then I had the kid that was shut down on you when he don't do something right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you done had all these kids. And like the one thing that I preach to all these kids, and by God, all of them wound up graduating high school. They actually made it. I had 7 kids total. 2 is still in high school. and 4 is in college and 1 is not. So, you know, I don't think I did too bad with the kids that I did have. I wish I could have did a village, you know, but, you know, I took this 7 and I mentored them, and, you know, it took everything. I took a lot of their Sunday evenings from them, you know, from the family too, you know, and, you know, you'll be surprised something as a $1 menu hamburger do for you in the end of the day, man, with these kids.
True. Yeah, that's true.
And now I'm gonna ask you another question too, Coach. How do you deal with sexually active kids that's on your basketball team?
Oh, don't tell you. I have to talk to them for one. The ones that you have some that are very open. Some more that are more open about the situations and stuff. You know, you just have to educate them on what to be prepared for, you know, with it. I mean, you know, is this unwanted pregnancy situation that you really want to deal with? Can you really, you know, raise, you know, another child? Or are you really okay with her being with her, you know, her with being with him and him and him, or vice versa? And, you know, because I deal with not just the males, but also the females on that situation to understand it. You know, you are aware most of the time of who is who.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the main thing is just to try to talk to them, make sure they're prepared, and make sure that they are, you know, they understand the consequences that come behind it. But again, at the same time, I can't make them stupid to say that as if they're not going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, because they're going to do it regardless of what we tell them. But just kind of let them be aware of what to expect, what consequences could come involved with that. Because I'll tell them all the time, I say, you have plenty of time to grow up. Be a kid as long as you can. Enjoy being a child, enjoy being a kid as much as you can, because you're going to work the rest of your life anyway. You know, you can live an adult life the rest of your life anyway. You know, there's no reason to rush right now.
True. That's true. And you know what? And growing up, I'll give my viewpoint on it. Growing up is kind of what I was going to touch on. A lot of these kids, whenever they get ready to leave high school, too many of them are following trends. I'm going to mainly speak on the males, because we have too many young males that are, you know, getting in trouble early in life and just throwing their life away. Too many of them are following trends. Like I said, whenever they get out of high school, some of them, they don't even have any plan on how they're going to get a job and be able to support themselves financially. So a lot of them take that easy route. Well, like we mentioned before, that easy route can lead to easy trouble. And a lot of them, they don't know what they're going to do soon as they get caught up with the law. They end up folding like an empty wallet. That's what I like to say. They fold like an empty wallet. They start telling on their friends. They'll confess to some stuff that they didn't do, or end up talking themselves into more trouble. But a lot of these kids, when they get in jail, they ruin their lives. And whenever they get out, they have no plan on how they're going to get a job going after that. But that's why I say, if you ever take that easy route and you get in trouble, just think about how much you've ruined your life. Whenever you get out of jail, you're not going to be able to get a job easy. Whenever you put on that application that you've been locked up, and especially if it's a very serious offense that job, you know, doesn't like, you're not going to get that job. Then you're going to go right back to what? That easy money, because that's what you know. Man, I just don't understand how so many young kids, they end up seeing how other kids get in trouble early in their life, get locked up, or some of them end up dead, and they just want to follow that same route. That, to me, that's stupid to me. But misery loves company. So a lot of them, they'll pull each other into that lifestyle. Some of them, they'll talk a good child onto a bad path, which that's why we have to, you know, get to the youth before the streets do. And we got to try to motivate them to want to do better in life. Give them that advice on, you know, how to go to college, get a trade, like Fox has said many times in you know, to kids that I know, where he's told kids, go get a trade. It's simple stuff. So I don't understand how young kids just see the legit life as it being the hard route. So we definitely need to.
That one, Oz?
What was that?
Can I touch in on that one that what you just mentioned about you don't know how? Well, a lot of stuff is not taught in the household and in the community.
That's true.
That's true. That you know, make legit stuff easy. You know what I'm saying? People don't. And I got a friend that I talk to a lot, and me and him came up with the notion that most Black males don't understand what they're going to do in life until they turn 40 years old.
Yep.
That's, you know, that's a strong statement, man.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna touch on last too, on my view on it. Is we need to instill like ambition and drive into our youth, because I know I don't understand how a lot of them follow these trends. The reason why I say that is because a lot of good kids, they do get this speech from their family members, but they'll still take that bad route, because some of them, they get so complacent and they'll procrastinate. And then when it comes time right after graduation, real life hits you and you have to hurry up and make a decision on what you want to do in life. So a lot of them will take that route, but I just don't see how they see so many negatives coming from other people and they still choose to take that route. But my last thing that I will say is the youth, you better get your poop in a group. In other words, you better get your shit together, because that easy route is never going to lead to anything good. And another thing I want to say, whenever y'all see these drug dealers and stuff, when they got nice cars and stuff like that, it's not that easy to get. They've been doing that for a long time, where they're making some big money to go out and just buy a car all cash, put some rims on it, and get nice clothes and stuff. You're not going to be able to easily do that, because when you jump in that lifestyle and you want to get out there and make big money like that, more than likely you're probably going to be their competition, and they're not going to have that. You're not going to take money out of their mouth that they've been used to making. So, you know, it's never easy. It's better to just go the legit route.
Can I make a point on that one?
Yep, go ahead.
And I completely agree with what you said. And that goes with not just talking about the drug dealer situation, but that goes along with any of us in success in our careers.
Yeah.
Is that kids see what we already got to. They don't see what we had to do to get to it. True. And what it took to get to it. They didn't see, for instance, I mean, I'm using myself as a prime example, that I had to work at Walmart, that I worked at, you know, as a host at Holiday Inn restaurant. I had to work at Save a Lot. I had to work, you know, and then I had to work in the community center, those type of things, you know, to deal with kids, to kind of build my resume.
Exactly.
They didn't see that I'm only supposed to work 12 hours for my work study, only for me to, I mean, that's what I'm getting paid for, but I'm working until 1 or 2 o'clock to make sure uniforms are ready, get ready for the next game, studying film, doing other things to go along with getting myself to where I've gotten to.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with anybody else that's gotten to their careers. There's little things we do that get us there. And there's little steps that come into play, because a lot of kids that I've dealt with, you know, I actually had a player call me one time and say, "Coach, I got my degree, but I can't get a job." I said, "Okay, what did you do during that time while you was in school?" He said, "What are you talking about?" He said, I went to school and I got my papers." I said, "No. Did you get any experience during that time?" "No, I didn't." Well, I mean, now everything's about experience and that piece of paper. You know, what are you showing that you can do for that job you're trying to get, and not have to be taught every little thing at the time.
Exactly.
Paper shows so much, but experience also talks. A lot of people get passed up that has a degree that doesn't have the experience.
Yeah, that's true.
It just happens, you know. So promotions come into play and things like that. That degree only goes so far. If you don't have something to show, because otherwise you're going to have to go to that person that's got the experience with your piece of paper to be over them, for them to teach you how to do the job.
Yeah. That's true.
Experiences, it goes a long way. And a lot of times these kids don't understand that having to do unpaid jobs to gain that experience, to volunteer, to say, I need, you know, a couple hours 3 or 4 times a week. You know, if you want to be a vet, one of my sons, I tell him all the time, he wants to be a vet, then you need to go and get experience from the vet. You need to go in and volunteer some time and see what they do. Talk to them and see what they do, because you want to have some of that experience so you have your foot in the door.
Yeah.
These kids are trying to go blindside with a piece of paper and nobody knows who they are.
True. That's true. That's true. Well, I know we're gonna try to cut this episode down just for the first part. The second part will be coming soon. But Fox, you want to go ahead and give your final view on this topic, and then Coach will go ahead and let you give your final part. What you want to say about it?
Yeah, man. Coach touched up on some touching stuff, man. You know, our kids is lacking the education, and they thinking they're grown before they even leave high school, man.
That's true.
And ain't got a clue, you know, at how fast life come at you. Like you say, Coach, kids think they get a degree and they can get a job. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. But man, if we can reach one, we can teach one, man. The youth is so lost, man, and you know, we got a lot of field to cover, man. Trying to get them back and trying to get them on the right track. If you can get them to listen, I believe we can reach out to them a little bit better and get them in good jobs and trade schools and colleges.
Yeah.
You know, I think too, man, we might be going it the wrong way. We might need to be trying to get to these parents to try to put this stuff in their kids too, man.
That's true too.
You know, you got a lot of parents out there that there's probably gonna be their child's biggest barrier. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And without them knowing, you know, giving them the world and not putting that into them to take the world. You get what I'm saying? But Coach, man, I hope you have much success with these kids, man. I know it's a 24/7 quarrel with you, man. You got to go through a lot of stuff, and I'm sure the hats you put on sometimes, you know, at the end of the day, I hope it's well worth it, man. And then I know that you didn't had a lot of them that didn't broke your heart, and you didn't had a lot of them to make you smile.
Yeah, but you know, and unfortunately, I've had more to make me smile than I have break my heart. But you do have those.
That's always good.
Like you said, you can't save them all. I'll try. We can't save them all, though.
Well, I tell you what, man, like I said, I hope you wish you much success, man, and I can't wait to do the next interview with you.
Most definitely, it was great meeting you today.
Closing out, man. Go ahead, take your stand, Coach.
I mean, there's nothing else I really need to say. Is just, you know, other than the fact of, you know, we're here for the kids. That's our purpose. That's the only reason, you know, that we don't do it for the money. That's a fact. And we want the kids to be successful, you know, whether it's my kid or whether it's somebody else's kid. You know, I'm always here. We're branching out. We're reaching out to other spectrums, just like Fox. I mean, you know, had a chance to meet you today. We had a chance to, you know, already start branching immediately before people even know we're branching. And, you know, we want the kids to, you know, and that's the meaningful part. You know, we want the kids to be able to see that. I don't necessarily need a thank you, you know, from that kid, because it shows itself. It feels better whenever that kid comes back to me and says, Coach, I now understand what you were talking about.
Yep.
You know, and I now understand that you weren't trying to be that jerk that I thought you were. You were really just trying to make me better. And that's all I want you to do. I just want you to see the kids become successful. You know, it's great to be able to see Instagram or Facebook and they're messaging you, or they're telling you, you know, Coach, I got my degree, or Coach, I got this career, or to see my players, my former players, they're out there, they're coaching kids or they're training kids to play basketball because that's their inspiration and they continue to move with it. And love to see stuff like that. I mean, it almost brings me to tears to see it, because again, sometimes it's the ones you didn't think you reached that you realize later on you did reach.
That's true.
And that's just literally just part of life, you know, just the inspiration behind it. And I love that. And that's all I'm here for. You know, I'm not trying to promote myself. I want to promote my kids.
I like that. I like that. And Coach, for the people that want to try to reach out to you, do you have an email address or any social media that people can reach out to you at, that if they have any questions or they need advice, where can they contact you?
My email is jaylunce@gmail.com. And I'll be honest with you, my Instagram is, as far as I know, my Instagram is Jay Lunce, J-A-L-U-N-C-E.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, like y'all heard, if y'all need any advice or if you would like to reach out to Coach Lunce, go ahead and do so. And for me and Fox, Fox has given his social media where he could be contacted, or you can always reach us at the family email address. Is going to be the Bowie Fam 256@gmail.com. And everybody stay tuned and we'll continue this topic. Like I said, with our other cousin, Jay Heezy, he will be on the line, but see y'all next time.